Let's face it, the first open beta for City of the Wolves kinda sucked donkey jankus. As an SNK newbie, I actually really enjoyed the gameplay. You have something in between the classic grounded Street Fighter style with a bit of that anime game freedom of movement with hops and super jumps and a good slew of defensive mechanics. But this is kinda unacceptable. Releasing in just a month from now, City of the Wolves is set to bring a modern rebirth to the Fatal Fury franchise. And while it's always nice to get a taste before the entree is served, when it's kinda charred on the outside but also undercooked on the inside, it can turn some of that excitement into uncertainty. Thankfully, SNK took notice and we've got a second open beta starting up, pretty soon actually. So with this most likely being the last sample platter before the full course is delivered, I thought I'd rattle off a few of the things I'm hoping to see the most when I jump into Open Beta 2. Infinite Desire of Parsiegian Intrigue Request Number 1. A bit more to chew on. Understandably, these have been beta tests, not demos, so the focus has been on network matchmaking and seeing how they handle the influx of players. And as we get into the further points, clearly that should be top priority. But I also understand people feeling like the original beta was a bit too bare bones, with a solid enough tutorial, but no real info on the roster's playstyle and general game plan outside of their move list. At the least, show off a little of what we can expect in the full release. Include a little trailer that plays when you start or stop the beta to let us see a little of the RPG mode, or how combo trials will look, what arcade mode is like. Already, this second beta will be better than the first since we've got Bird Grapple Man added to the roster, as well as training mode to at least have a space to experiment and problem solve outside of mid-battle, so that's a pretty solid start. Infinite Design of Parsiegian Intrigue Request Number 2. Better matchmaking from the start. Easily one of the biggest problems of the first beta was that it felt like it didn't want you to play the game. While the last couple days were definitely better than the first in my anecdotal experience, matchmaking times taking multiple minutes for a new game is just horrendous. Tons of people were playing to see this new rebirth of Fatal Fury, or have the first hands-on experience they could outside of the demos that they've been doing at live events. So being the first time people globally can play this at home, and then having the matchmaking times longer than some matches as a whole, just not a good look. It did improve over that first weekend though, and clearly this was a big sentiment that many people talked about. So in addition to better network stability online, I'm really hoping that jumping into ranked or casual matches this time around will have 30-second wait times max. Infinite Desire of Parsiegian Intrigue Request Number 3. Easier ways to play with others. While I didn't really mess around with this myself, apparently the first beta was pretty bad at just linking up to play in a room with someone you know. There's a whole issue with needing a friend code, not being able to invite people directly through like Steam or PlayStation, and just weird runarounds people had to do just to play with a friend. I'd also like to see the ability to jump into custom room matches with someone from casual or ranked matches if you both agree. But once again, this harkens to the fact that Fatal Fury hasn't existed in almost 30 years. You can get with the times when it comes to the interface at least. With the ease of custom rooms and a multitude of other fighting games, plus things that should be commonplace now, like having rank tied to an individual character, as Street Fighter does it, this just feels like the game is stuck in the past in certain ways that aren't the best. Infinite Desire of Parsiegian Intrigue Request Number 4, aka Gruster's Tip Number 4, the Tornado. I gotta find like a beat that like makes sense for this. It's like, then there's a grust in the wind, there's a grust in the world, there's a grust on the way, there's a grust coming forward. There's a grust in the wind, there's a grust on the road, there's a grust in the wave, there's a grust around the corner, there's a grust in the wind, there's a grust in your heart. There's a grust in the place that you knew from the start. There's a grust in the wind, there's a killer, there's a gruster. There's a brand new grust on patrol. There's a guild, there's a bust, there's a grant, there's a grow.
So come on,
And the
down.
next thing you know, it's a grust. Oop, that's interesting.
Everything's dead.
Infinite Desire of Parsiegian Intrigue request number 5. Cut the lag, bruh. I genuinely enjoyed my time with the first beta, and would really love to get into City of the Wolves on release, purely from a gameplay perspective. But in addition to all the other issues, this is the one that would stop me from a day one buy, waiting to see if issues like this are fixed. Because what the fuck, dude, what is this? All games kinda have to deal with this in some way, but especially multiplayer-centric titles where you are jumping into match after match after match. Game devs know they gotta find ways to minimize the downtime because it starts to add up quick. Luckily, something like instant rematch is commonplace nowadays, but these in-between round pauses have got to go. No other fighting game I've played in the modern era has this much of a dissonant wait between rounds. It kills momentum, it's slightly funny but more so annoying to just stare at a black screen and hear background noises, and ultimately, it's the game preventing me from playing the game. I could have easily played double the matches I did in the first beta if a combination of better matchmaking and lag time were reduced, and that's just like fact. When it feels like the biggest hindrance for me playing the game is the game itself, it just feels bad, you know? And that's my gruster's wish list. I didn't really talk about gameplay mechanics because I don't think 4 days as an SNK noob really gave me much to say. I'd much rather see how the game evolves and play more before determining whether Just Defend needs more health or if Rev Blow is too strong. It might be. But the big thing for me is that I want to see a bit more of what the game will be like at launch. Maybe a single player demo will come at some point. But for so many of us, that's going to be the loop of exploring a character in trials, training mode, going into rank to get beat up, going back to training mode to learn the counterplay, and then jumping back in the waters again. And when so much of that, from the lack of the training mode to the insane lag times, just hinders that loop from going smoothly as it can, it doesn't leave the best impression, even if the gameplay is pretty fun. What are you looking forward to in the second beta? Are we going to see a flood of T-Zox joining the ring? What are y'all hoping to see in the final product when the game fully releases? Should I give my grusterous finale thoughts after I complete the open beta too? Comment below with your thoughts on City of the Wolves so far, and I hope to see you all howling out there this weekend with me. Until next time, thanks for watching, and don't forget about Xandar Bunglesnar.